Hey crafters, it's Amanda. So today I've got a video that I'm really excited about. I had a comment on one of my other videos by Pinky Green requesting that I put together an easy video on a pair of crocheted hoop earrings with beads. And I'm really excited about this one. I've actually wanted to try this and mess around with things for a while, but I just never got around to it. But because of the request, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go get supplies and I'm going to put together a pattern for a crocheted pair of hoop earrings with beads. And I'm really excited about the finished design. Here's what it looks like. So this is what we're going to be making today, and I have the pattern up on my blog. So if you're not familiar with my blog, go to craftersautonomous.com and look for the article about the pattern for these earrings. And I'll put the link for it below in the description, so you can check there for that also. So you might be wondering, if I'm going to show you how to make a pair of earrings, and I've got this cute little earring here, why am I sitting here with this jumbo crochet hook, some rope, a hula hoop, and a cut-up pool noodle? Well, the reason why is because I'm actually going to do two videos explaining this tutorial. It's really hard. Well, I don't want to say it's really hard. What the hard part about these earrings is they're so small. And because they're small, there's just a lot of detail, and so it's sometimes hard to capture that in the camera. So I'm going to have two tutorials. One will be where I use the actual supplies that make up this earring here, and then I'm going to do a tutorial today that's going to be the jumbo size, and we're going to pretend this is an earring and we're going to work on here. So let's get started with the tutorial. Now today on this video, I'm not going to go over what supplies you need, what the actual supplies are. I'm just going to go through the tutorial, but I'll link below in the description, and it'll have the link to my blog post where you can find what materials you'll need, and I'll also link to the other video that uses the actual materials. So today we're just going to kind of think of this rope here as our crochet thread. This big giant hula hoop is going to be like the earring hoop, and this is pool noodle that I cut up into little chunks, and these are going to be like our seed beads. So to start, you're going to take your crochet thread, and you want to first, before you even start crocheting, you want to thread 8 seed beads onto there. So I'm going to go ahead and string these pool noodles on. Okay, so here we go. I've got my 8 seed beads on my crochet thread, and this is what you're going to do before you even start. You'll probably, with the seed beads, you'll probably need a needle threader and a needle to be able to get the seed beads on, because crochet thread, the size I recommend for this tutorial, is a little bit thicker, but since we're using our jumbo size version right now, it's pretty easy to string on. And now we can go ahead and start with the actual crocheting part. So if this is our earring hoop, this is going to be the back side. So we're going to connect an earring hook to it, which is this part up at the top. So we're going to connect it to it. So if we're looking at this, it's like we're looking at it from this side. So the hook would kind of come up in this way, and the front would be on this side. We're kind of working from the back. So what we want to do is we want to first, run our thread from the back to the front. So you can see right here, we've got it coming up through here, and we're going to start with a slip knot. And insert the hook. I'm also going to let you know that because we're doing this jumbo size on here, it's probably not going to be to scale, so the end result of this is probably going to look a little wonky, have like really big gapping and stuff, but it won't be like that when you do it according to the pattern and with the correct materials. So you can see we've got the rope coming from the back, and we have our crochet hook on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 24 single crochet on here. So to work a single crochet, we're going to hold this up, and this is going to be like, because we don't have any stitches to work in, we're going to work around this. So first we're going to yarn over, then we're going to bring the hook to the front, yarn over again. So you can see how it has the yarn over from the back, brought the hook to the front, ropes coming around the front, then around behind the hook, like that. And then to finish our crochet stitch, we're going to pull through both of them. So if you think about this, this is like, when we do this first yarn over, this is like we've yarned over like normal, And then when we come here and yarn over from the front, this is like, coming to the front, it's like we've inserted our hook into the material. Just because it's one giant big loop, it's obviously going to look a little different. So then you yarn over here, and we're going to take this yarn over and pull through 2. So now we have 1, 2 single crochet stitches on our big earring hook. So we're going to do that until we have 24. So the first yarn over, you're going to pull the rope to the back, yarn over, pull the yarn to the front, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over from the back, come to the front. Now you want to be careful when you do the second yarn over, you want to pull through here. If you take it and come this way and yarn over, you're just going to end up with a bunch of loops on here, and you're not going to be working around this piece here. So it's important that the first one happens behind, then we pull it to the front, yarn over here, pull through 2. So the first yarn over we pull to the back, second yarn over we pull through to the front, and then pull through 2. So now we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches on here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish crocheting until we've done 24 around. I had to go ahead and unwind some of those first stitches I was working because there was no way I was going to make it all the way around with 24 stitches. So you can see how these stitches are really, really stretched out so I can make it work for this tutorial. So I've done 24 single crochet stitches all the way around, and you may have noticed that at first I was kind of working on the outside, but the goal is we're going to kind of turn everything inward. So you can see along this edge, I already have them turning inward, and it's the same along this way. So I'm going to lay this down away from me, and I'm going to slip stitch in our very first single crochet. So I'll come from there, I'm going to insert into the top. You can tell that's the top because of the V shape there. So I insert it, going to yarn over and pull through everything that's on my hook. And so now I have this full ring of single crochet stitches worked around. I have 24. And now it's time we're going to start working to the center, kind of creating the webbing design on the inside, and we're going to start incorporating these seed beads. They're really pool noodles. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some double crochet in some of the chain, but we're going to skip every 2 double crochet. And this is every 2 single crochet, excuse me. We're only going to work in every 3rd one. And this is where we're going to start incorporating the beads. Now, because we just finished this round, and we need to start working up this way to create the next inner circle of our design, we're going to need to do 3 chain to come up to the next row. And that's going to count as our first double crochet. And this is where we're going to start incorporating the beads. So I'm going to slide the first bead a little closer on my hook. And I'm going to, the last thing I've done is the slip knot. So I have a slip knot on here. And I'm going to do 3 chain. But instead of pulling through and doing a chain, I'm going to first slide the needle so it sits, slide the bead so it sits on the back side. And then when I yarn over to do my first chain, instead of the bead being to the right and I just pull through, I'm going to have the bead to the back, and I'm going to yarn over from this side here and pull through. So yarn over, pull through 1. And this is, remember, this is the back side that we're working on. That side's going to be the front. So if we turn it around this way, you can see we've incorporated this first bead on here. So now we're going to complete our chain 3, just like normal. I'm going to do this really loosely so that way the pattern works. So let me stretch this bigger, so 2 and 3. And when you work this with the real materials, you obviously won't need to stretch these stitches out so far. I'm just doing this for the sake of the tutorial. So now I'm going to do double crochet in every 3rd stitch around. So I've already done this chain 3 in this first one, So that's going to count as our first double crochet. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and this is the next spot I'm going to work in. To work the double crochet with the seed beads, let's see, we just counted. So 1, 2, 3, this is where I'm working. I first yarn over like normal, and then insert the hook like normal. Now the next step for a double crochet is to yarn over and pull through this spot right here. But instead of just yarning over and pulling through, I'm going to slide this bead all the way to the back. And I'm going to grab, if you look at the way the thread is, the bead is sitting along here. Instead of grabbing thread from the right side for my yarn over, I'm going to grab thread from the left side of my bead for the yarn over. So we're going to grab right here, yarn over, pull through 1. Stretch this big so it keeps working well. And then I'm just going to complete the stitch like normal. So I yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And what this is going to do, once we get all the way around, we'll fasten something to the top of this chain here. So this chain will stand up. And we're going to keep working around, and it's going to create these kind of posts going into the center, and each post will have a bead. And instead of the bead, it's not going to quite stand on the back side like that. Well, really that's the front side we're looking at from the back. It's going to kind of fall into the gaps between each spot. You may be noticing that this chain one kind of sits in the back. So when we come back around, we're going to do something that's going to make it sit this way. But for now, we're just going to keep working around using the same process. So skip 1. Let's slide those down a little more. Skip, let's see, yeah, this is where we went in. So skip 1, 2, so 3 is where we're going to work. So like normal, start by yarning over and inserting the hook. So you can see I've got the top of my previous stitch on here. Kind of hard to see. The top of my previous stitch on here, the yarn over, and then I have the spot where we're going to work. Now before I yarn over again, I'm going to slide this bead to the back and grab from the left side of the bead. And yarn over, pull through 1, get some more slack, and then I'm going to complete the stitch. So slide the other beads down by yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And here you can see the pattern starting to form even more. Let's slide these beads down, and we're going to repeat the process. Skip 1, 2, work in the third spot, yarn over. Let's see, I gotta stretch this so I can actually insert the hook. Insert the hook. Let's see, make this a little bigger. Yarn over, insert the hook, and then before we yarn over this time, we need to slide our bead to the back, yarn over to the left side of the bead, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 3, or through 2 again, sorry. We're just doing it for our third time. So you can kind of see, if we look at it from the front, the pattern is starting to form. And like I said, we'll go ahead and we will twist this guy so the bead stays on the correct side. But you can see how the beads are going to sit in each spot around. So let me finish crocheting this. So here we are, we have put all 8 beads on, and you may notice that there's some bigger holes here and smaller holes here. When you actually work this with the real materials, it's not going to be like this. The reason it's like this is because this hoop is so big, proportionate to the number of stitches. So when you work it, it'll turn out more even. That's why this is a little funky looking. So here we are, I just finished my 8th double crochet, and remember we let this chain 3 count as our first double crochet. And the idea is we're going to slip stitch in the top up here, and then we'll fasten it off, and then all we'll have left to do is weave in our start end and weave in our tail end. But how do we go ahead and slip stitch to finish it off? Notice how these ones are all, well these ones aren't because of just how it's hanging, but all the beads are going to be on that side of, like to the left or below the post of the stitch when we're done. However, you might notice this chain here is kind of hanging to the back, and these ones are hanging to the back just because of how it's weighted. So we want to have this twisted so that way it matches the others. So to do this, you see we have our 1, 2, 3 chains right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and we are going to insert our hook. So this is the front, this is the bottom. We're going to keep flipping until we get this side right here. We're going to insert our hook through there, yarn over, and do a slip stitch by pulling it through. And that's going to provide that twist on the chain that will cause the bead to sit on this side instead of hanging on the back. And then once you've done your slip stitch, just pull the rest of your tail all the way through. And let's look at it from this side. There you go. Your earring is complete. And now obviously what you still have to do is you'll have to fasten in, weave in this front end. I recommend going just along the edge here, and you'll need to weave this one in. I would recommend coming down through here along the through the bead, and then just along the edge. And obviously it won't be nearly this big. I really hope that you don't make an earring this big. This might hurt a little. But that's the basic idea of how we work this crochet pattern. And as I said before, this is very, sloppy looking. This was for the sake of tutorial. When you actually crochet the earring, it will turn out nice and uniform like this guy.